All right, we are in the Winter Slopes tournament. We are in Tuesday's qualifying round in the rookie division, and we're going to try and actually qualify our main account today, and then we'll continue to practice with our second account as the week goes on. We want to make sure we play every day. The key is to try and figure out like when you're peaking so that you're playing your round on that day. So let's go to hole number 1. This is one of the par 3s. It's the racetrack. And you know, for whatever reason, I've played this hole I don't know how many times. And I remember when these holes first came out, you know, we all played them up front. And then we started moving back because the whole goal is to stay up here high. And so you're playing back here in the back. But for some reason, I can't wrap my brain. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. So I'm going to use an extra mile and just do the upper shot. I think most of you have, you know, if you've got a level 5, 6, 7, even a maxed out quarterback or a extra mile, this shot, you know, there's nothing really to this shot. So I think most of you will probably feel more comfortable using an extra mile, so I'm gonna shoot it that way. And the way that my game's going right now is I'm usually super conservative on par 3s. You know, I want to try and go for hole-in-one, but I don't want to risk the birdie. And if I'm not, and when I did this, I came to this hole with a katana, so I'm going to take a katana because the timing's right, but I think you could easily do this with any ball. It's all about the red line in the front with your extra mile. If I get there and the katana's too much, I can drop it down, but I've played this hole twice using the extra mile here, and both times I ended up on this hole with a katana. So I want to stick with it. But you could use a lower level ball. It just depends on, you know, where you're at in your club up there. As long as you got enough room to make adjustments. But this is definitely a hole that you don't want to ever have to do any overpower on. There are so many variables on this hole that you do not want to have to put in overpower as one of the variables. So I mean, you got plenty of room. There's our red line in the front, and here's our red line in the back. So we're more towards minimum club. And I'm going to put my blue ring down here on this rough right after the turn, with my orange ring on the upper rough. And we're going to put max and 1 backspin. And adjust out the winds, 3-3. So it's a little bit over a ring and a half. And we're going to put 1 ball of curl. Isn't it perfect? We'll see where that goes. We want to try and come up there as high as we can. I would have liked to have got just a little bit higher, but the higher up there you can get before it drops onto the green, the more it's going to go right at the hole. So most people are going to end up on this side. You know, if you can work it so that you're ending up on the other side and then kind of bring it in a little bit. The higher up there you can get, the better. So I'm gonna play that just like that, where I've got my blue ring down there on the rough, and I've got my orange ring on the rough at the top. And the blue ring's just barely kind of cresting into it, kind of like what our opponent is right there, just a little bit into it. But we're gonna put it in the spot where it's not quite that much into it, just barely into that rough down there at the bottom. And we want to wedge it into the spot where the orange ring is up against the top rough, and the blue ring is just barely over the rough down by the sand trap, and then make a full wind adjustment. And we're trying to use about a ball's worth of curl. So if you think of the ring, you know, when you're setting up your shot, you're going, nice shot. It's always nice to get a hole-in-one on something like this. Watch hole 2 and I'll show you the thing about the curl. That's one of the reasons why the back shot is And especially if you're playing from the second or the third tee, that back shot, you don't really have to use any topspin or backspin or curl. You're just kind of letting the ball do its thing. You may be adding topspin, just a little bit of topspin, and you're just kind of letting the ball move along. So if you don't have to add any curl, that's one less variable. All right, so we started off with a birdie, which is, about the most we can hope for. This hole right here, I think, is very hole-in-oneable. I think the other two par threes, we got a serious shot, but of the par threes, this one right here is, in my opinion, the most makeable. Alright, that was hole number 1 of the Winter Slopes Tournament in the Rookie Division. It's Tuesday's qualifying round. Thanks for watching.